Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling. If you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button down here. It's right there. Click it. Because you're not going to get Kevin's wrestling podcast where we predict and review and your reaction and No. We're giving you companies across the board, not just one company, but all companies across the board, all continents and countries, local shows, indie shows. We're covering all topics here, and hell, we might even branch off of wrestling. We talk about video games, shoes, all kind of like video games. Look, I'm trying to get an Arcade 1-Up deal in the Mankind Cave. Look at that. Look at that. Shout out to Arcade 1-Up. And most of all, shout out to you. Thank you for visiting our page. Make sure you subscribe to Kayfabe Connection. Go ahead and click it right here.
Hey, this is Adam, a.k.a. Edge, a.k.a. the Rated R Superstar, a.k.a. Dwight from Haven, a.k.a. What was my name in Bending the Rules? I can't remember, but you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection.
This is Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling.
It's just too sweet.
Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to another episode of Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know and hope to know about pro wrestling. Yeah, the Mankind Cave is a little under construction right now. Normally you see that big AEW flag. Now, I won't be that guy like, oh, here he goes again with his AEW stuff. This will be a little more neutral because it's like just gamer stuff and shoes and metal. It'll be just more neutral on the thumbnails instead of that dude with the AEW banner in the background. So my wife blessed the Mankind Cave with this sign. Man, we can change colors during the show if I'm feeling like Kermit the Frog. Just throw it up to a green, a red, whatever. So, anyways, we took a break, and I know we're joined as always, co-hosts, brothers. Real life brothers, not storyline brothers. Shout out to Jeff from Fully Posable. We're stealing that one. Larry and Logan in New Orleans. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing all right.
We'll get through the plugs and we'll just get right to it. First off, before we start the show here, follow us. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell, the notification. Do that. We want to get the subscribers up on the channel because we also want discussion going in the channel. We want to interact with you guys in more platforms than just social media, but especially on YouTube directly in the video. We do a triple threat every week to end our show where we have a topic of our top threes. And so we'd love to hear from you. In order to hear from as many people as possible, though, we want to make sure we get the subscriptions going. So if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, at the letter K, FABE Connection on Twitter. I don't do live show tweets. I know that's like a big thing in the wrestling community. It's like, I'm going to live tweet. I don't know, Larry and Logan, call me crazy, but you guys like watching shows, right? Like, it's hard enough, like we're in our chat and like we'll throw some funny stuff back and forth, but kind of where the buck stops. Like, I'm watching a match. Like, I don't have time to live tweet.
That's like the people that's going through the party on their phone, looking down on the phone, like, oh, this party is tight, but you're on the phone the whole time.
Right.
The dudes that live stream, like live tweet wrestling, those are the dudes at the party sitting on the couch in their phone, like, yo, this party's tight. Like, check it out. I'm on my Instagram. I'm on a live video. Like, no. So yeah, Twitter though, we have a lot of funny retweets we put up there. Any breaking news, we'll throw up tweets of that as well and give a little bit of our thoughts on that. But definitely there's a lot of interaction on Twitter. Also, Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, Kayfabe Connection, all one word. on Instagram. We like to put pictures up of past events that we've been to. We'll put our meet and greet pictures up with all the wrestlers we met. I gotta say though, we did delete Logan's picture with Scott Hall. Chico, like, sorry, you got canceled. You're a jackass. So yeah, we don't have Scott Hall on the kayfabe page. That's another can of worms we don't need to get to in the intros here, in the plugs. So shout out to Dola for blessing us with that the beat over the intro, highly intentional music. Producer out of Indianapolis, good friend. He's a good dude, and his beats are all just crazy. So we appreciate him for the theme song. Also, shout out to Edge, who is supposedly wrestling in the greatest wrestling match ever tomorrow. He blessed us with a bumper for the show. So that's where my comments stop. Blessings to Adam Copeland, aka the dude from Bending the Rules. He couldn't remember his name. Yeah, you heard the plug at the beginning. So blessings to Adam Copeland, aka Edge, and also shout out to Matt Jackson for the intro at the beginning. That's about it for the plugs, man. I'm gonna take a step back, and we're just gonna start the show off with the most important topic, and it is involving wrestling. But there's times in life where you realize there's topics that are more important than wrestling, and that's why we took a hiatus. We did not drop an episode last week, just in observance to all the events that were happening. And so we're back here. And without further ado, I wanted to hand it over to Larry. Larry, go ahead and start us off with our opening segment on tonight's podcast.
So yeah, as y'all all know, with the country like literally like burning down in front of us, it's been a long time coming for some people, and for some people are in shock, I guess. There's like a divide through the country. And through all of this, it had me thinking about how Black people are portrayed in wrestling as a whole. Because I think somebody made a profound tweet. It might have been maybe AJ Gray might have retweeted it, but the tweet basically said that Black athletes dominate every sport except for the one that's predetermined. And I had to sit there and really think about it. It's like wrestling is like one of those things, I guess, that is flies under the radar so much, which is probably why they continue to run shows, even like in the midst of the thing going on, like at the height of it. Well, I can't even say the height of it because we're still in the height of it, but you know what I mean. They're able to fly under the radar and do shows, and nobody question it because, for the most part, wrestling still is like a super niche thing. Like it had its moments of being mainstream in the '90s and the rock and wrestling era in the '80s, but for the most part, to the greater world, like it's still a super niche thing. And it got me thinking how a lot of these guys that run the wrestling companies are like these older, basically white guys from a point in time where it was okay to perpetuate these tropes that they have with Black wrestlers, not even just Black wrestlers, Mexican wrestlers, Asian wrestlers. And it's literally like, you can tell, like, it's their view on how me and other Black people, other Asian people, other Mexican people, how they act in real life. Like, it's been going on forever. Like, I mean, the Mexicos, how long ago was that? That was only like 10 years ago. They were riding on John Deere tractors to the ring. Right. I mean, we still see it today with, I love R-Truth. Like, I know he's a comedy wrestler, but he's never given a chance. Like, that's all we have to offer to companies like that. We have to be a comedy wrestler. Meanwhile, you got somebody like Darius Lockhart. Shout out to my name on a video today. Hi, Darius Lockhart. You got somebody like him who's just as good at work as anybody, but for some reason he can't get a job because he projects this quote-unquote pro-Black image. A lot of these white promoters are scared to even hire him. But yeah, it's just something I thought about. Like, I had to actually, I didn't watch any wrestling last week, honest, to be transparent, because my mind is on other things, like greater things. And part of me was like, wrestling helps contribute to the problem that we have. Because at the end of the day, there's some white kid in middle America. His only opinion of what Black people are is probably from wrestling. Like, he probably doesn't go to school with any Black people. He doesn't live next to any black people, like all he sees is what he sees on TV. And wrestling helps portray a negative image of black people and Mexican people and Asian people and any other non-white ethnic group.
Right.
So that's just my 2 cents on it. You got anything, Logan?
I mean, you hit it over the head. It's hard to follow that. I don't really have anything to say after that. Fred, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, yeah, this stuff. I mean,
It's a big topic, but it sucks, man, that we always have to be like like the R-Truth type wrestler, Shelton Benjamin with his mom. Like, why can't you just be a wrestler? Like,
Bobby Lashley got to be sleeping with somebody's wife or whatever.
exactly. When if you just watch what he did at Impact, you'll realize how big of a star he could be.
Shelton Benjamin was in the same rookie class as like Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Batista, and people were saying he was going to be the one out of that group.
Right.
Like he was considered like the best athlete out of all of them.
He really made me get into the Money in the Bank ladder match because he kind of was that guy that made that match cool, like the high spots and everything.
I'll never forget being outside of Ford Field, and we found the WrestleMania bus. And call us what you want, Marks or whatever, whatever you want to label me. We stood, because I don't really ever do that. Like after Raws and shit, people will be standing out by, the garage. They're like waiting for the cars to come by and like run up to the car to get something signed. But, it's Detroit's WrestleMania. I was too young for Mania in Pontiac, my hometown, at the Silverdome. I was too young for that event. So this was the only thing I had. That's the only time outside of Pontiac that they've been to Metro Detroit. They were in the heart of Detroit. So we were at Ford Field, and we saw the Mania bus. So we're like, I'm going to walk over there. Dude, we literally like just bumped into Shelton Benjamin. It was me and my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Josh in Swartz Creek, Michigan. But we bumped into him, and he wasn't mad at us, but you could tell he was just disgruntled. Now, this was after the event, and I assume they were probably leaving Ford Field to probably go to like one of like the hotel, like so they can do like the party, the WrestleMania after party or whatever that the wrestlers usually do every year. But we bumped into Shelton, and we just looked at him, and you could tell he was just kind of upset. And we just told him, like, dude, I'm sick of like them putting you in the Money in the Bank, and then you have these banger matches on Raw, and then there's no payoff. I want you to win the world title so bad. Like, and at that time at Mania 23, it's like that's the person that was knocking it out of the park match by match. Look at the match with HBK he had on Raw.
Right.
And he was like shooting, like he was just telling us like, yeah, I'm fucking over it. Like, I don't know how much more of this I can do. Like we caught him at that right moment where he wasn't like, oh, piss off, like get out of here. I had a bad night or whatever. Like you could tell he had a lot on his chest, and he didn't really process it after the event to anybody. Like we were the first kind of people he probably like just broke down to about it. And I think that probably helped him hearing from fans, and especially 2 white fans that like we had that awkward discussion. Like, what's the other issue? Like, what's the real issue here? Because this guy on paper and visually in front of you is everything you want. He's an athletic, just an athletically gifted person to the point where he's leaps and bounds above everybody. Athletically, he can get on the mic and cut a promo, but do you necessarily need that? He has such a pedigree background. Nothing should be questioned about him.
Right.
He was Brock Lesnar's counterpart, the 1 and 2, 1A, 1B, we'll call him. there's no fucking reason why he should just be pimped out on Money in the Banks, and that's it. And he was basically a precursor to Kofi, because Kofi.
Yeah, about to say Kofi. Yeah, Kofi took his spot.
He's not as amateur based as Shelton was through college, like at Minnesota with Brock and stuff, but they really had to hijack the show to get Kofi the belt. This wasn't a 70-year-old man going, oh, like he's been in the company a long time. He's paid his dues. Like this is important. We need to give him the title. No, like they had Ali in a match who's going to do a gauntlet match. Mustafa Ali, he's another real one. Shout out to him. He just did a little, as a quick aside here, he just did a 3-minute video for Sports Illustrated talking about police brutality, because Mustafa Ali is a former police officer in the Chicago area. So he knows what he's talking about. I know you're on your shut up and dribble shit sometimes with wrestlers. He's an expert. He knows what he's talking about. So might want to listen to Mustafa Ali on his thoughts. Anyways, he was supposed to be in the match. He gets injured. Kofi gets in there. The crowd goes nuts over him. It's this organic thing. But it's the same thing with Daniel Bryan. And we'll get to that in our triple threat tonight. That's a good segue, foreshadowing for our triple threat topic. It's never a point of just going, I see the potential in this person, and this person deserves this opportunity. Even the first black champion in the company was not given that right. Like, he paid his dues. He deserves this. We're giving this to him for no reason other than he's way better of a wrestler than 90% of the roster, more athletic than them, hilarious promos. The New Day is tired as you can get of them as far as like them in the tag scene with the Usos, and that's the running joke. They have a historic title run. They beat Demolition, Road Warriors, any records that anybody ever had in that tag division. New Day is the tag team in WWE, whether you think they are or not. Historically speaking, and I know it's kayfabe titles, they have such an importance in that business, not just in tag team wrestling, but for what they bring to the table. Big E should be a former WWE champion already.
Yep.
Yep.
There's no excuse, because on the paper, he's the guy that Vince, oh, look at those pecs. Look at him. He's muscular. And dude took out Cena in his first entrance into the main event, into Raw. It's like he came out in the main event and just did the deal to Cena and stood tall. And that was, you're like, oh, who's this guy? This guy's huge. This guy's awesome. Who is this guy? There's no reason he should be relegated to, look at Kofi. Look at his title run. Look at what it meant. Look how historic that was. People crying. Rest in peace to Shad Gaspard. The video of him with MVP crying when Kofi won. There's a lot of people that watched WrestleMania that night in New York, and they were like, oh, tight, Kofi won. And then there were people with tears in their eyes watching history. It meant something to them. There's no secret. This is not a secret. This is not being, oh, we're going to be controversial for kayfabe to get likes and clicks. Dude, I don't want to say our Twitter, because I do the Twitter handling. I take the heat for all the shit I post on there. Our Twitter handle for kayfabe, we've lost followers the past 3 weeks with all the stuff, the stuff that really matters in life, not wrestling. I know this is a wrestling podcast, that hurts to hear, but sometimes in life, more important stuff to deal with, and to not sweep under the rug or not, hashtag, and then you're blind to it. You did your thing. You did your service. You made your profile picture black for a day so you can sleep at night. This is what we're talking about here. Look at other companies. Look at Ring of Honor. What did they do with Keith Lee there? What did they do with Shane Taylor there? Oh, well, there's Jay Lethal. Well, what did they do with ACH there? What did they do with Cedric Alexander there? Another person in WWE. Look at him. Look at Ricochet.
Yep.
Yep.
What you're seeing in that company is some old man's view who lives in a bubble, mind you. Vince is not a people person. He has no. Larry and I were talking off podcast. Logan was joining us in the podcast. So before we were recording, we were talking, just the two of us, and we were having that discussion, man. It's like this dude lives in a bubble, Izod, man, as we call him. And, this dude lives in a bubble, has a gated community house in Greenwich, Connecticut. When's the last time Vince went to see stand-up comedy? When's the last time Vince went to a movie? When's the last time Vince went to a grocery store? What pulse in life does he have? Strip away the socioeconomic aspect. When's the last time that Vince was in a room that was predominantly black?
Right.
And people were sharing their unfiltered opinions about things, and he goes, oh, and he's learning, and he's not talking over people. He's not pontificating like he usually does. He's listening. Because that's the time right now, too. Wrestling fans, your panties are in a bunch. You already clicked us. You already did the unlike. You unfollowed us on Twitter. Thanks. If this makes you feel some type of way hearing this stuff, good. Don't listen to us. I'm not saying everybody has to be like-minded. We got to be robots. This ain't a political thing. It's right or wrong. And if you can apologize and scapegoat, and Shelton Benjamin should be a former WWE champion. Big E should be a former WWE champion. Kofi Kingston, only reason he got it is the opportunity struck. There was an injury and the crowd begged for him to get it. There's never been a willingness to be like, this guy deserves the belt. And I know a lot of people on social media, and they got the screen catchers. Oh, Street Profits are the champs. Sasha Banks, Apollo Crews, New Day. There's all these minority champions now. In fucking 2020, how long has WWE been going on?
At least like 40 years.
It's like it's exhausting. It gets exhausting. People like Ben Shapiro. Oh, I don't really know why Black Panther was such a big deal cinematically. I mean, I don't get blah, 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 blah. That's easy for you to say when you grew up and saw John Wayne the cowboy and Superman and this and that and the third. Fucking Walker, Texas Ranger. Like, every hero looks like you. Every champion that rises above evil looks like you. People are going to get fucking frustrated with it, especially when the product follows suit with your mentality behind the scenes and who you're friends with, the people you roll with. Look who your best friend, one of your good buddies are. We're not even going to get on that topic. We don't need to. The Battle of the Billionaires. You already know what I'm getting at with this. He has the same mentality as that guy. Such a limited viewpoint. And like I said, he doesn't know real life for anybody, let alone. It's so frustrating, man. And this isn't us being the cool kids because AEW's and we're going to shit on this. No, man. It's way bigger than this. It's way bigger than this. Look at Evolve right now. What happened to Progress? Remember they were going to have a working relationship?
Evolve, what's that?
Evolve's dead. Bankrupt. Bought out. Done.
With that 5-man roster.
What were the good intentions of that? There were no good intentions. It's whatever some 70-year-old man wants to see with the belt and to represent his company. And that fucking beaver lookalike that's in the production truck. Oh, well, he has an accent, so, Pac, when Pac was there. Excuse me, Neville, the dude that was dressed like a fucking dick dancer with a purple cape. Oh,
Adrian.
Weird accent.
How you got his first name?
Adrian Neville. We got to shorten it because Billy Bob in the crowd's not going to get down with fuck off. Like, how many times can you apologize for this shit? Coming out with a do-rag as the ECW champion. Fucking slick with chicken. in his promos. How long?
Hakeem.
Well, that's just how times were in the 80s, you know.
They gave the one game. And then
Hey, you cut out, Larry. What did you say?
I say they gave the African gimmick to one man game and called him Hakeem.
Hakeem. I don't care if it was in the fucking 60s, 80s, 90s, 2020, 2025. Dude, Jive Soul Bro as a theme song. Not good. That should have never left whoever fucking the boardroom. That should have never been like, all right, sweet.
Vince, as long as we got Vince McMahon and Michael PSAs in that production truck and Kevin Dunn, is going to be more of the same.
And you nailed it. 3 of the most influential people in that company. One dude rode around with a fucking Confederate flag, thinking he was the extra bonus member of Leonard Skinner. He played the cowbell in the Leonard Skinner. Bad Street USA. Fuck off. Those are the people that are running your company and deciding things. Paul Heyman. More breaking news here with kayfabe. If you didn't hear already, remember when everybody lost their minds because Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman, they were the creative. They were going to be in charge of creative. Oh, we're gonna shake things up. Do my Dr. Phil impression. How'd that work out for you? Dude, fired, axed, gone. Liv Morgan, Street Profits, all these different pushes that Paul Heyman was pushing for, gone. You're not going to see those push.
Ricochet, Cedric Alexander.
What are they going to do next week? Fucking Viking Raiders. They're going to do like a breakdancing competition with Street Profits? Like, really? Like, who sits and comes up with these ideas? Like Larry said, Bobby Lashley getting a massage by the blonde girl. Like Vince did that. Remember the Monday Night Football thing? Wasn't that Shelton too? Didn't Shelton do that with Trish?
Yeah, I think so.
And Mama Benjamin. How many different fucking things do you put a person through until they're buried? And he came back.
Well, let's not even talk about
the roster.
Let's not even talk about the Triple H promo.
Triple H, Booker T. We didn't even get into that. Go back and watch that match. Whether you watch the build-up or not, we know the build-up and how uncomfortable it made a lot of people. How fucking long did it take for Triple H to get the 3 count in that? That felt like an eternity. Tell me that wasn't premeditated. This is what you see over and over and over and over again. There's no denying it. None. If you deny it, you're probably someone I don't want to talk to. If you deny it, you're probably not someone I would want to follow us on, social media platforms or to be in support of our show. So again, if this opening, I don't know how long we've been going here, but if you've already clicked off or you felt some type of way or your trigger like the gift does, the dude shaking on the chair, if you're that guy, bye. We're not here to cater to anybody. We're not sitting in here like a fucking music exec. We're like, oh, so our demographics we're going to hit, guys. And like, there's topics that need to be discussed. Shit gets awkward, just like right now. But it's only awkward because you swept it under the rug so long and we're too embarrassed or uncomfortable to talk about it. This makes me uncomfortable. Well, get really uncomfortable because there's topics that need to be discussed. This was one of them. I'm glad that we were able to shed light into this topic because it's like life imitating art. Sometimes with pro wrestling, all I can say with everything that's happened now and I'm not speaking for anybody, but just from me, from my own perspective, from what I see, all I can do is hold out faith that this is pushing some kind of change. Will Vince change? Will Kevin Dunn change? Will their views, their limited mindset change on how they view Japanese wrestlers or African American wrestlers or Hispanic wrestlers? You know, who's that Riker, whatever the fuck, from Forgotten Sons, brother? I served, and thank you for your service. My grandfather, my father, my uncle, they all served. Thank them for their service as well. Appreciate it. But not everybody is hoorah about things as you are. And
My
that's
granddad served and had to come back home and be a black man. So in the 1940s and 50s. So just look into that. What you want to look into it? It was what's more patriotic than that? Than serving for your country and then coming back to the country you served and still get treated like crap because of this thing called racism that some people can't grasp or believe happens. I have little hope that wrestling will change because it flies under the radar so much. Like nobody really cares. Like just imagine like what Vince McMahon did with the "What's Up My N-Word." Just imagine if that happened like on any other like reality show or anything. Because I know what's gonna happen if it did come out in a limelight. He'll pass it off like, "Oh, it was a character saying that," but we all know he meant it.
It was in Detroit. Yeah. I was there. I was standing on the floor at Joe Louis Arena. I was, who was it? Dimitri Young. He used to play for the Tigers. He got traded from the Reds to the Tigers. Big home run hitter, dude. Dimitri Young, we were in the corner, like the ring, like, so the ring post is right there. Like, we're in the corner. Dimitri Young was like almost in front of us where we could be like, what up? And he could hear us. So we were right on the floor, and we were watching the Titantron at the Joe, and Vince dropped that, and my heart just sank into my stomach. I'm just like, just looking around. Detroit. Can we get this? Can we get, right? I get the Joe Louis seats right here. These are the seats from the arena. 81% African American city. There's a movie called Detroit. Most of you probably didn't see it because, you know, it was only limited to one theater every like 800-mile radius. A24, brilliant studio that puts out brilliant work left and right, pushes the boundaries of filmmaking. There's a movie that explains the significance of that and why him saying that in that city, it's never acceptable. Whatever city he was in, doesn't matter if he was in the North Pole with Santa, you don't say that. But being in Detroit, it's just salt on the wound.
That's like him saying in here or Atlanta or any other predominant black city.
Yep. It just, and my wife hit me, and I've said it on the podcast before, my wife hit me with the most chilling question. She's like, why didn't you stop watching after that? And I got to sit there with myself and go, you know what? If fifths were fifths, we'd all be drunk, but she raises a great question. It's a chilling question because there was part of me that just wanted to walk out that night, and I should have, because that main event was fucking whack. But I should have got my ass in my car, drove up 75 North to go home to see my family, go get some Timmy Ho's on the way home, some Timbits, a frozen hot chocolate or something from Timmy Ho's, Tim Hortons, shout out. I would say give me a sponsorship, but there ain't any Tim Hortons in my neck of the woods here because I'm no longer in the Detroit area. So, but shout out to Tim Hortons otherwise. Yeah, man, it's a broken record. What Larry, wasn't there a wrestler that, I don't know if it was the AJ Gray Twitter account, but it got brought to light that there's a lot of, and I think on the indie end, I can't speak on like the major platforms like Impact and, you know, across the board, but wasn't there some sort of expose about like indie wrestlers, like promoters of indie promotions, or kind of giving the impression like, hey, like, don't speak up about this Black Lives Matter stuff. Like, just don't be vocal about it and blah, blah,
But
blah. Won't get pushed.
that was Darius Lockhart. Like
That was like, okay.
he's got before all of this, like the whatchamacallit happened, George Floyd stuff and Breonna Taylor stuff happened. He was outspoken well before all of this, and he was saying basically how even like his black friends in wrestling would tell him like, "Oh, you might want to calm down on that," because they were looking out for him. Like, but he doesn't care. Like he's gonna be who he is.
Hmm.
But it's sad that he even feels like he has. Because what do we always hear about wrestling? All the experts say your best gimmick is you being yourself with the volume turned up, right?
You always say that.
Rhetoric. How many times have we heard that?
So who's to say he's not doing that? Why can't he get a job? They don't like the volume they don't like the music that's being played when the volume's turned up.
Dude, can you imagine an ECW New Jack in this climate right now dropping the promos that he did?
Right.
In the middle of like Talladega, at a house show in Talladega or some crazy town like
The
that.
world kind of needs that right now. You can imagine the heat, like,
Hey, people like to crap on TNA, but remember when MVP had that promo, the Beatdown Clan promo about the thugs and
Yeah, that was epic.
yeah,
Thug is just a secret code word for,
right. Anybody hasn't seen that promo, please look it up on YouTube.
YouTube it. Yeah, listen to our show and then go YouTube it after.
Yeah.
Shout out to that faction too, highly underrated.
Yeah, BDC.
They didn't get enough time to like really shine, but
Like
it was
Peter Rosenberg called them the Wu-Tang of wrestling. That's what they were pretty much.
It's like the whole world needs to change. This country needs to change. This country needs to change its mindset. This country needs to relinquish this foul power and control that they think they have of this like narrative. And the narratives that they stereotype and push those stereotypes. But as Larry put it at the top of the show, it falls down to wrestling as well, because it's one person's mind that monopolizes the business that controls that narrative, that makes these dudes come out and do all of these stereotypical things instead of just letting them shine. A guy like Shelton Benjamin, letting him shine beyond just one show a year at Money in the Bank. Kofi Kingston, more than just one show like Royal Rumble.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I should know this because I live in New Orleans and we were like pretty much like the crown jewel of the territory. But I never remember seeing pictures of Junkyard Dog and chains before he went to WWF. Vince had him coming to the ring with chains on.
Man,
that's not a good look.
It's the place to be.
Like I said, I could be wrong. He could have been doing that at Mid-South. But when I think of Junkyard Dog and WWF, I think of him coming to the ring with the chains around his neck and stuff. Yeah, it's not a good look.
He didn't do that in WCW.
Right. Well, actually, I am wrong. I'm looking it up now. It looked like he did have change. But we all know the deal with Bill West too. So, but to give him credit, he did at least put black people over in WCW and in Mid-South. So he was at least smart enough to realize that, because he realized the audience he was catering to. Like I say, New Orleans was like the crown jewel of the Mid-South territory. Like they built up shows throughout the year, and the blow-off matches were held many times. And this was always has been a majority black city, like at least for the last couple of few decades, I mean. So he was smart enough to know, like, oh, I got to put a black wrestler over in this promotion. So I give him that at least, even though he's definitely, like, just look it up for yourself. He's definitely said some questionable things in the past.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks to be immediately pessimistic about the topic and not have as much faith in it. But that's all you can just have at this point, you know? But with that, there has to be different people in charge. And until that happens, you're just going to see the same stereotypes perpetuated. It's the same person in control. It's the same person with creative control. How do you change that? He's not going to change his ways. Dude's in his 70s. His mind is set. We need promoters that are not simple-minded people from these bubble environments, these uber wealthy people from, these limited mindset of reality, and people that look, act, think differently than you, that aren't at the country club with you, that aren't in your little circle that you roll in. You got to grasp an understanding and have more cultural competency in your life than just your little bubble in Greenwich, Connecticut, or wherever, And until that happens, until the power is relinquished, it's again, hate to be a negative Nancy. All I can do is have faith. But like I said, I don't have any of the answers. In my mind, you have to have a change in control and power. And there needs to be more representation. A guy like MVP who works for WWE, that's an incredible person. That's a great ambassador. You ever, I miss the VIP lounge listening to MVP go on these epic rants about stuff, talking about prison reform and all kinds of different topics. He gets it. He understands the scope of things. MVP should be someone that's in Vince McMahon's office, influencing him, educating him. He should have some sort of higher up executive role, just based on his wherewithal and knowledge, not just of the business, but from a cultural standpoint. That is a person that you want in the main office with the fucking ostentatious T-Rex fucking skull in the office with the cowhide fucking blanket he has in his office. That's a person that deserves to be an executive in that company that understands the scope of things. That if an MVP's in the room and Vince and P.S. Hayes and all those guys are in there and they throw out a Mama Benjamin angle, you got a guy like MVP that's in there that can go, no, fuck no, we're not doing that. That's super insensitive. We're not doing that. Well, why not? Then there's the education. But again, when you're just in there and it's just you and the good old boys and you're drafting up scripts, there's no checks and balances there. So, anything else on the matter?
Like I say, I'm cynical about it because I guess this has been my whole life as a black wrestling fan. I've come to expect this. And it's across the board. It's not just WWE. Like, we joke about it. We see the other companies. Like,
right.
There's definitely progress that can be made even in AEW's shoes. They're still a new company, so I'm giving them a pass for right now. But we'll see.
I would like to see a Scorpio Sky contending for the title.
Yeah, I will say in AEW there's no, stupid stereotypes at least, but as far as pushing black talent, I would like to see more of that from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Impact. Moose is the interim champ.
Yeah.
Long time.
Shout out to AEW though for letting Mark Quinn be in the main event this week actually.
Yeah.
We need more of that, man.
Yeah, again, it's across the board. Again, like Larry said about being cynical, all you can hope is for a change in mindset. And that comes from the people in power.
Like I said,
not anybody else. It's up to them.
Right. I didn't expect, I'm cynical when it comes to, police brutality videos, I guess, because I've been seeing that my whole life. And I guess as a black person, you become numb to it. But I would never expect this very one, this one, the George Floyd one to be the one that like made the country like wake up. But I'm glad it's happening. Well, I got all of them that have happened over the years. Like this is, I guess it took this one for people to really see. So I'm glad it's happening.
Well,
So
it took a pandemic and 40 million people unemployed to have time to go out there
Well, yeah, that's part of it too. That's another.
and go rise up.
That's another time.
All those other protests. Oh, I gotta go to work. I can't be seen on TV.
What would my job think?
Right.
Exactly.
Now it's like nothing to lose at this point. You're giving me wimpy ass $1,200 for 3 months of my time and telling me I'm furloughed, and you're gonna give me my pink slip. Like,
right.
Fuck it. What do I got to lose right now? Like, it's across the board, man. There has to be changes made.
People have time. People have time to actually think right now. You don't have to be sitting in traffic in the morning and then in the afternoon. Then you got to get your kids together and do that homework, and then you got to go to bed. So
yeah, watch your stupid ass show, The Goldbergs or whatever.
Yeah, obviously.
And I'm gonna say it. I love it.
Well, obviously, this is a topic we care about because we spent this is a whole episode right here talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know how much time we're talking.
I get at the stop right now and feel gratified in this episode.
Why can't black guys be like from Japan or whatever, like AJ Styles, and get to wear like Japanese leather tights and stuff and say all this cool stuff about the work they did in Japan and shit.
We watch it.
You always gotta you gotta be our truth, you got to come out and get people name wrong and get what show you on and stuff like that, and I'm supposed to laugh at that.
He's supposed to, yeah. When do you see, like, Triple H as the cerebral assassin? What character do you see, wrestler do you see that's outsmarting guy?
Right.
I have to live through Roman Reigns and like people like The Rock and stuff like that, which I was surprised that The Rock spoke out. Big shout out to him, because this is probably my first time seeing him speak on sexual matters.
And like Larry said, it's just something very unique about this instance that just, and it was maybe it was the perfect storm, like to Logan's point, with all the things that have been going on. It was just the perfect storm where just people have nothing to lose. People are already just feeling real, just super grouchy and just like fed up and just over it, and having this just eat the rich mentality right now that we're in, seeing that we're in this have not society, and that all that stuff, just a perfect storm to just bubble up where people are like, nope, not dealing with this anymore. We're not having this anymore. Yeah, I mean, we were going to record when we were going to record, and to me it just, like, last week we didn't air an episode. We all collectively were in our group chat, it's like, did you even watch a match this week? Like, is wrestling more important than this right now? Hell no.
I watch Malcolm X speeches all week. That's what type of time I'm on. Which I listen to Malcolm X anyway a lot, but definitely last week I listened to a lot of Malcolm.
I just been playing video games, man, just to like get away from some of this stuff. Like, I just needed a little break. Obviously, I'm gonna come back to it, but like I've been highly just playing like games.
Yeah, like I just needed that thing to break me back in, and like thankfully my favorite promotion is coming back, so I have that.
And you're talking to somebody who I've never took a break from wrestling since the day I started watching, and it's hard to watch it right now. It's even hard to watch Dynamite sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to even say that, because I've never fell off wrestling.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some wrestling here. I know it's man, it's difficult to, like we just said, it's difficult to get off this topic and be like, wow, so everybody excited about New Japan? Like, you know, like and I hate that. Oh, wrestling, use it as a distraction. Like, not turning this into a TED talk or anything, but like, I'm the type of person where I want to feel the emotion. I don't want to distract myself from the emotion, because that
Right.
is, again, it's that sweep under the rug mentality, and you'll deal with it later on in life, and it'll bubble up and turn into like anxiety or whatever it turns out being. Um, I watch wrestling because I enjoy it. I watch it because I'm invested in it. But in the climate that we're in right now, there's things to focus on, and there's things to feel, and there's things to digest. And I think there's a lot of people in this country that should turn the fucking SmackDown off, or whatever wrestling you're watching, educate yourself. I'm not being on my self-righteous stuff. I'm doing the same thing. I got speeches in my AirPods. I'm seeking out texts, talking to close friends, investing my time into just educating myself, you know, because it's Dynamite, like we all discussed. It was, and that's our favorite show. Dynamite comes on, you're like, all right, I got my pizza and my wings here, the show's on. It's like, but I'm not, am I 100% invested? Am I like sitting there with the foam finger on, the Orange Cassidy thumbs up? Like, we'll get there, you know? We'll get there. I appreciate you guys talking about this subject, and talking about your life. Like, this is life. This is not like, this is a segment like that Larry did. I know in the scheme of things, it was a segment, but this is life. Like, this is your life.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole podcast right here. It's we go on all day about this.
So yeah, there is wrestling going on right now. Let's discuss a little bit of it here. And I gotta tell you, man, there is something that really is getting my hopes up right now, and that is that New Japan Pro Wrestling is back, baby.
Finally.
I've between that and NWA, those are like my favorite promotions. Throw in PWG, OTT when they can start running shows. You know, it'll all trickle when we phase in our phase 5. It's like a math equation. Phase 4, it's shit's all made up. We don't know what's what.
We going through the G1 climax with this.
Dude, right? You go to the grocery store, there's like 2 people with masks on. Like, are you going to get kicked out? Do you have a mask policy? Like, nobody knows what they're doing right now. But New Japan seems like they have a really fine plan going. Dude, I read through it. It was 18 pages long, the precautions that New Japan are going to be taking. And it sounds like they're involving fans. They're checking temperatures. There's masks. There's hand sanitizer stations. The seats are going to be so much apart. I'm not going to read off 18 pages of rules to you guys, because who the hell wants to listen to that? Nobody in the right mind wants to listen to that. But New Japan is back. New Japan returns to action on June 15th. Dude, that's Tuesday, right? Or no, that's Monday. That's Monday. So New Japan.
Morning.
So whenever you're listening to this, June 15th is the planned target date. It returns to action. It was revealed in a press conference, and I know Hiroshi Tanahashi was there with the president of New Japan, and they delivered the good news. It's great that they're coming back, and it's great that we're getting a New Japan Cup. It all starts on June 16th, and it will culminate at Osaka, Joe Hall on July 11th in the New Japan Cup final. Typically, I know Logan was just joking about it. Typically, G1 starts in August. G1 is going to be in October this year. I'm glad that the New Japan Cup is going to be a thing because you can basically showcase a lot of your talent. It's not on some like junior, super junior, or G1 type stuff. It's just basically a free for all kind of thing. And I think that's a great way that you do introduce everybody back and not do like a Dominion or something because again, I know they're guilty of this, you're going to have a lot of tag matches because you're trying to get everybody, the ring rust out and working everybody in. But with the New Japan Cup, that's kind of the thing is they can reintroduce everybody back to the audience through New Japan World, through these individual singles matches, to where by the time you get to the end of New Japan Cup, you're ready for a pay-per-view. You're like, okay, I remember I remember the storylines, and it's not, now you're starting up new storylines in this tournament. And so you can't just come in cold turkey and just jump, hey, Dominion is taking place at Osaka Joe. So this is almost like the culmination of the New Japan Cup is essentially like a Dominion type show, basically.
Right.
Because the final will be on July 11th. So there's going to be a card built around that July 11th show. I'm not going to go tit for tat on these pairings, but I will say there are some matches that stick out to me. Dude, I can't wait for Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki, two of the OGs in New Japan, and two of my favorites. You know that match is going to be stiff as hell. I'm looking forward to that one. Satoshi Kojima and Evil will be tight. I know Kojima's another guy that's one of the OGs, but again, I think another match is going to be stiff. I'm all about strong style, man, in New Japan. Like, I know we like technical, pure stuff, but like, I'm a sucker, and it doesn't matter how old they are for just super loud chops and the screaming and just the strong style stuff, man. I dig it. Kota Ibushi, though, Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., June 22nd. That's the same day my NBA Jam is supposed to be delivered. Shout out to the good folks at Arcade One Up. I got NBA Jam. NBA Jam's going right here next to Turtles and all my Jordans here. So we're gonna have a full fucking arcade in here, and I can't wait. So I'll be playing NBA Jam, hopefully with the Michael Jordan on there. There's rumors that Michael Jordan's gonna be on that NBA Jam cabinet. But hopefully I'm playing NBA Jam watching this New Japan Cup. Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr., which, coincidentally enough, remember when they wrestled each other outside of New Japan? CWC? Ring a bell, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Right? That was
like
in black shit. Just put your sunglasses on and just... So Kota Ibushi,
could you imagine them on the stage?
You said what?
I said, could you imagine if both of them would have stayed?
Oh God!
What they'll be doing?
Zack Sabre had to take the suplex off his jacket.
Yeah, it'll say like SX or something. It's like blurred out.
I was gonna say, whatchamacallit, tap out on it.
Tap out, dude. Wow. I think you can get that at Kohl's. Like if you shop at Kohl's or JCPenney, you could probably get some.
Yes.
Here.
Can't get here because they went out of business here. So.
But yeah, if you want to know more information on the New Japan Cup, again, we don't do the run-of-the-mill type show stuff here where we do a prediction show and we're going to break the tournament down bit by bit. Like, you have eyeballs, and it's real simple. Just go to www.njpw1972.com. You'll get the English site, and you'll be able to go through the tournament pairings and do little previews of the bracket. They have like a little breakdown preview bracket. So we'll let you go to the website if you want to see a more in-depth analysis of it. But just want to give a quick breakdown of New Japan. What do you guys feel about New Japan coming back real quick before we put a bow on this?
You already know how I feel. Like this is the thing I needed to rejuvenate my love of wrestling, because y'all know I'm like that's my favorite company probably. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's time to see Naito finally defend that belt. Because this is very on brand for Naito to win a belt in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Where he can't even defend it.
Right.
This goes to the Naito story. But I definitely miss it. And I'm looking forward to Kenta's rise because I feel like he was up on an incline with his rejuvenation of his career before all of this happened. So I'm definitely looking forward to what else they do with him. That's one of the main things I'm looking forward to. Oh, and also shout out to Will Ospreay, who pretty much like he looks like a brand new person now.
Dude, he's on that cap.
I don't know if y'all watching it. I don't know if y'all seen him lately, but it doesn't look like he's gonna be doing the flippy do stuff too much longer.
I miss hearing Kevin Kelly.
Will Ospreay about to go from Evan Bourne to like Scott Steiner, like 2000 Scott Steiner.
You got a 33% chance of beating me.
Well, that hidden blade gonna hurt like hell, no?
Right. Yeah, man, I'm happy, man. Well, and I cut out my New Japan World subscription, so I gotta restart that one. But yeah, New Japan's back. It all starts June 15th, special presentation, and then June 16th, New Japan Cup starts off, culminating on July 11th again for the final of the New Japan Cup. So we'll get more into detail of that and give our breakdowns of the matches as they go, and give you like a little preview of the tournament, and maybe even give our predictions on who we think will be in the finals as we go along with that. But that's about it for the New Japan topic there. Logan, I know you're ready for this. Speaking of which, another show that we're going to be hyped about, not just New Japan Cup, but shortly after and right before the New Japan Cup final, July 1st and July 8th is Fyter Fest. And instead of it being a pay-per-view, which I think is smart, they're giving it away for free on TNT. Logan, just give us a quick breakdown of Fyter Fest, what we got so far.
All right, so right now we only have like 3 matches that's available. It's going to be a Cody Rhodes championship, which I think Cody will bring. Will give us hopefully another classic with that title, because the first 2 matches was pretty awesome. Because I know a lot of people not a fan of Jake Hager's in-ring performance. But hopefully that one will be a banger.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. The second match that we have is Kenny Omega and the Hangman Adam Page versus the Best Friends for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I think that was probably going to be the match of at least number 1 or number 2 match of the whole entire fest, because it's supposed to be like a 2-week event. I think it's going to probably be up there with that Bucks tag team match.
Oh, yeah.
Best Friends, we kill every time.
Yeah, they got a lot of momentum right now. A lot of momentum, which is good. You're going into a tag team championship feud. But they've really kind of developed their footing, I would say.
Where else you go?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have the World Heavyweight Championship match that's booked also. We have John Moxley going up against Brian Cage. I expect that one to be a banger, to say that this will be Brian Cage's first AEW title match. And I'm loving the gimmick that he has right now with Taz as his manager. Like this week episode when they beat John Moxley up outside, that actually had me hyped up for this match. Because we never really seen Brian Cage play this heel role before, so he's doing it pretty good so far. And just have Ted as his mouthpiece. I love it. So
Yeah. It's,
add to that.
yeah, this feud and him slamming him on the car too on Dynamite, like, because this feud is like a baby. This is like a brand new feud that started after Double or Nothing, with Cage winning the casino battle royale, whatever you want to call it, poker chip Money in the Bank. But that was such a shock. We're like, oh, like he's in the company now. To immediately, like, not only is he debuting, but like he's coming straight for the top, like he's going after the title. And it was kind of one of those pairings, like, okay, let's see what we're getting ourselves into here. But I think the slam on the car and Taz getting in the face of Moxley, like, it just, there's something special brewing here, and I think it's going to be a great match. And they got weeks here to build the feud up on Dynamite. So, what other feuds or matches do you think they're going to have at Fyter Fest? Like,
is it too early for?
I don't know about the FTR.
That's what I was about to say. FTR.
I was going to say that too. I don't.
You might save that for All Out.
They need to save FTR and the Young Bucks for when the crowd comes back. Like, they got too much invested in that storyline to start it at a no crowd show.
Maybe we might get Darby Allin versus somebody. But I don't really see anything else right now at the moment.
Yeah.
Wait, Orange Cassidy. He was, I forgot who he was. My mind is forgotten about the.
With Jericho in him.
Yeah, he was facing Jericho.
With the oranges. The blood oranges.
So maybe Jericho might work Orange Cassidy, which I think will be a pretty good match. Orange Cassidy, man, shout out to him. I had no idea. Like, this guy is really good. Say what you want about his gimmick or whatever. Like, this dude, like, man, if you into like indie lucha style and all that stuff, like, he could do it all.
Jim Cornette's favorite
wrestler. Right. He's funny as hell to me.
Yeah, man, Fyter Fest, dude. I think it'll go over well, and especially it being a 2-week event, it helps bridge the gap between now and All Out, so we don't feel so spread so thin with just Dynamite for months, like, because All Out's September 5th, so essentially we're like 3 months away from that show, so we need something in between to get us there. So I think Fyter Fest was a good idea, and especially extending it out and making it free and not charging people $50, during a pandemic,
After they just charged us last month.
And then USA Network might have War Games or some shit like that, while this is going on, just so they can come back, people from watching Fyter Fest. Hell in a Cell on NXT.
Oh man, well, speaking of NXT, we can segue over to our co-main event topic, our last topic here before we get into the triple threat. So I got to give credit to Solomonster. Solomonster sounds off. Definitely check the show out if you haven't. Available on YouTube, Stitcher, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. But he's also on YouTube as well. And I was listening to his breakdown of, I guess, Road Dogg did a very candid interview on the Corey Graves podcast that he does through WWE, After the Bell. And basically, it was super candid. Like, Road Dogg was super honest, and almost too honest, because Road Dogg revealed to Corey Graves, and I'm just paraphrasing here, he told him, basically, he reaffirmed the Land of the Giants rhetoric that we've all known since the Diesel days. Diesel and Bret Hart. We've known this, that Vince favors a certain look, physique. We just talked about at the top of the podcast, too. He has a certain image in his mind of what it takes to be a world champion, obviously. And Road Dogg said that if Adam Cole looked like Karrion Kross, that Adam Cole would right now, to this day, like in this moment, Adam Cole would be either the WWE or the Universal Champion. He wouldn't be in NXT. He wouldn't be in a stable. He would be the champ, the man on the A show. That I appreciate Road Dogg's like candid candor during this, but at the same time, he kind of shot himself in the foot because he basically just revealed to us the worst kept secret in wrestling, that Vince McMahon is a body guy, and he does not like quote unquote vanilla midgets, as they've been coined. The term has been coined. That phrase has been coined by several people, several wrestlers. Yeah, I mean, this is no secret. There's a certain image, there's a certain type that can be the champ, and so much to the point that how many times do we go to the Brock Lesnar well? Like, how does anyone think that's entertaining at this point? Especially when he doesn't wrestle. Like, back when he was hitting moonsaults and actually, like, having good matches, wrestling matches, grappling, like collar elbow type stuff, not punch, kick, slam, suplex, F5, 5 F5s in a match, it's over in 30 seconds. How does anyone find that entertaining? And Roman Reigns
get it.
and, you know, Drew McIntyre, it's like, I'm so happy he's the champ, but it's going to be hard without a crowd. Like, I'd like to see the reaction with a crowd, because at least, if we're going with this image thing, Drew McIntyre is a versatile worker. He's a great promo, super passionate. You believe him. It's not like, at Backlash. It's not this overly scripted thing. He's super passionate, very fluid on the mic, very natural, but he's a versatile worker. I mean, I speaking of Evolve, back when it was a thing, I saw him wrestle Ricochet. And on paper, you look at that and you're like, well, that's a weird mismatch, but it actually worked. And they kept my attention from pillar to post, from the opening bell to the pinfall. And it was believable. And that just goes to show the level of talent. Hell, the Money in the Bank show was garbage. The one shining light on that show was Forever 21 representative with his Forever 21 jacket, Seth Rollins, the Kingslayer, taking on Drew McIntyre. That match was a banger. Like, I watched it after the fact. After our watch party, I watched that match back. That was a great match. And again, on paper, a big guy taking on what we could deem maybe perhaps as a smaller guy. Seth Rollins is not the prototypical WWE champion in Vince McMahon's eyes. But those two just went in, and that just kind of goes to show. So,
is Killer Cross really that much bigger than Adam Cole? Like, I didn't realize that till the statement came up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Killer Cross.
Like, height-wise.
I met Cole on several occasions. And remember, we took the Mount Rushmore pick.
I know Cole. Yeah, I know Cole is short, but I didn't realize Killer Cross was
power over him. Like, he's a little guy. Like, ooh, pinch your cheeks. Like, dude, he's so little.
Like Rey Mysterio versus Batista.
My wife made that point to me. She's like, it's so weird watching them on TV. They seem like these just big guys, and then, you know, like, we get in photo ops and it's just like Michael Elgin at Ring of Honor's like right here, like cut off. It's like, it's funny. It is kind of funny. Like, I get with saying that, I get that notion. Like, you go to a meet and greet and you're like, dude, I'm bigger than this guy. Like, I'm way bigger than this guy. Like, how's he the champ? But, you know, I started thinking about it too. You know, the tagline at the end of the show, next time someone tells you wrestling's fake, you know, you tell them, so are movies and TV. I started thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I love the Mission Impossible series. I have not one time watched the Mission Impossible series and go, man, Tom Cruise is like 5'0". Like, no way he could kick that guy's ass. It's like, it's just believable. Like, you suspend your, you know, your disbelief, and you just get into it and you're invested in it. And if you really are into the character, invested into the character, it doesn't matter. It's believable. You're like, oh yeah, this dude's an ass kicker. Like, I believe in this guy. But they don't have to be the breathing heavy and like super big, like, because again, that too, like, it's lazy and it's predictable. Like, by that standard, Great Khali should have had like Bruno Sammartino numbers as the WWE champ or world heavyweight champ at his time.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier about the old tropes. Like it's the same thing. They view the manly man supposed to be over 6'2" or whatever. Can't sneeze because that's weak.
Yes.
It's like, come on.
Weakness. Yeah. Well, that's just like Daniel Bryan of Vince McMahon not favoring him because he's a vegan and, you know, he doesn't eat meat. He's not a man. Like, you just nailed it. Like, it's this personification of like what a man is. Like, you have to be this emblematic example of what a man is. If that's the case, why the fuck has Cesaro not been the champ?
Right.
Because again, he's another dude on paper, visually, you look at him and you're like, he's a champ. He looks like $1 million. His cardio game is crazy. Do you ever see Cesaro blown up in a match? Like, I've never seen him ever blown up in a match. You know? It gets boring and it gets predictable. Not everybody has to be a big body, but look at certain dudes in the past, man. Like, I mean, look at the Luther Reigns shit that the fiasco they ran into with The Undertaker. They had 4 dudes against Undertaker, and then they had to make it like a handicap, like 2-on-1, because two of the 4 giants they put him up against could not wrestle for shit. But they were big. It's like, that doesn't matter. Like,
Shout out to Tom McGee.
But again, like, you got to book it smart. You can't just have the little dude just beat the shit out and squash the big guy. But like Karrion Kross taking on Ciampa, Karrion Kross towers over Ciampa. That's believable. For him to squash Ciampa, I love that. I love that was the outcome at TakeOver. I thought that was terrific. That's believable. But you can have a wrestler outwit the big giant. We've seen that. Isn't that the trope? Like, David Goliath, the slingshot, like, it doesn't always have to be the too big, the immovable objects. Like, it doesn't always have to be that trope. Can't we just get the best wrestler takes on the best wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
Is the biggest guy in the company typically the best wrestler, technical wrestler? Has that ever happened? Has that ever happened in wrestling history? The biggest worker is the most gifted technically and athletically. I'm going to say never, right?
Yeah, I can't think of
Anybody at the letter KFAB Connection on Twitter, tweet us. Anybody know? The biggest guy was the best wrestler? I mean, if I'm wrong, but am I lying? Like, does anybody know? Bueller? Like, so that's it. Like, that's all I gotta say about that, to quote Stone Cold.
Good.
But that's a good segue though, because we are now at the main event of the show. If you're new to the show, that's our triple threat. If you're a fan of the show, it's your favorite time of the show, because we hit you with that triple threat. One fall, scheduled for one fall tonight. Top 3, as we always do in triple threat fashion. 3 co-hosts, you get it? You understand where we're going with it, right? Triple threat, top 3 undersized wrestlers of all time. I got my list together.
Yeah, I already know mine as soon as you text me
heart.
the top.
Same.
Yeah. I got my honorable mentions, and I got my top 3.
This might be the quickest triple threat too. I know Logan was cracking jokes. We run an Iron Man style sometimes with our spiels on our triple threat, but I think this might be a unanimous one. This might be our first. Who wants to go
Who's
first?
going first?
Right here.
I'll go.
All right.
All right.
You got top
First, let
two
me
Undersized.
honorable mentions. My honorable mentions, I got Davey Richards, probably one of the greatest
Nice.
ROH champions of all time. One half of the American Wolves. The reason why Red Dragon style of name, the DR and Dragon, is because of Davey Richards, Bobby Fischer, Kyle O'Reilly, if you didn't know. And I have two more honorable mentions. I have Chris Candido, a VCW fan and Body Donna fame, Dr. Tom Pritchett, shout out to Dr. Tom Pritchett. And also I have Ultimo Dragon as my other honorable mention. One of the greatest like cruiserweights in WCW history. All right, but let me get to my list now. Number 3, I probably got the guys who like kind of helped put this term vanilla midget on the map. I got Matt Nixon as a Young Bucks. Because when I think of vanilla midgets, I think of them, and they took it and ran with it. And I mean, pretty much got me back into watching wrestling, watching the tag team matches. So I have them at number 3. Number 2, I'm sure he's going to be on all of our lists. I got the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Some of y'all might know him as Daniel Bryan. But David Richards is the greatest ROH champion. Some people will probably say it's Bryan Danielson. Like most people will probably say that, obviously. Actually. But yeah, Bryan Danielson. Even the stuff he did in WWE, like I was there, WrestleMania 30, the image of him holding up the 2 titles up in the confetti. I was right there watching it in the crowd. That was a big moment. It was cool seeing that. But he's like the epitome of like the undersized guy who always finds a way to win. And number 1, y'all probably, there's no surprise to y'all who my number yourself as was, but like what came across guys on TV. His mission was probably the most feared submission hold of the 90s. Like how many people did he squash with that move? Like I can't even count. But yeah, I have Taz as number 1 because he was small, but he was believable as a legit tough guy, and he came across as a badass on TV, and he was the reason I fell in love with ECW. So that's my list: Taz, Bryan Danielson, and the Young Bucks.
Nice, man. I can dig it.
All right.
Logan, you want me to go or you want to go?
I'll go, man.
All right.
Nah, well, because I know you be having more stories. So yours be perfect to end off on. So. All right, so no specific order, like I always say, because I can't categorize these guys. But the first name that come off the head is going to be Jushin Liger.
I see the shirt.
Is he considered a midget?
Yeah, he's a.
Are we just talking about all wrestlers? Can I consider him as one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's
Undersized. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of the goats.
Okay. I mean, it has to be one of probably the greatest light heavyweight wrestler in my book. I mean, he didn't wrestle. I mean, go look at his catalog. Next, I'm looking at this website and think of this guy, Dynamite Kid. I mean, how many guys did he influence today?
Yeah, he's.
Uh,
He was just like
5'8".
Taz. He
influenced a lot of guys.
Yeah, he didn't come across as small on TV, but he was small. But
No.
he didn't wrestle small.
Right. Rey Mysterio. Larry already picked my I mean, how can you not have Rey Mysterio in your
I figured that was
small
going to be
guy
obvious,
list?
so I was trying not to pick him. But, I mean, we all know he's a GOAT.
Probably. Right. I mean, he literally brought me to lucha wrestling. Like, I mean, guy never wears the same mask twice. Like, so that'd be my my top 3. If I had an honorable mention, I mean, can I say Chris Jericho? I mean, he's really undersized.
Yeah, especially back in
But
the
he's like 6
WCW
feet.
days. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought about it at the last minute, put Brian Pillman up there too.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, but also,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also lucky. I mean, Kurt Angle is 6 feet up. Well, Kurt Angle.
No, he wasn't a vanilla
short.
midget though. Vanilla midget are like the guys.
I was just picking.
Yeah.
I was really going after guys that's like under 6 feet, like stop at 6 feet. That's what I was really talking about.
But we know Vince loves Kurt Angle.
But that's no, he don't, because he fired him, didn't he?
No, but I'm saying before that,
Like,
you know.
yeah.
When he got the pushes, he got it. It wasn't
But
for Vince like.
and Larry also said that Taz and David Richards. I mean, those guys right there. You have to put them on your list too. Taz is like probably the most legit guy back in the '90s. Like, you know, he had that MMA type style.
Ultimate Dragon.
David Richards also, like, he was like Ultimate Dragon also.
I'm surprised he wasn't on your list.
Honorable, so Fred. Yeah, I know. You already saved it, so I had to come up with somebody's team. So.
Honorable mention, I gotta go with Taz. So yeah, honorable mention, I gotta go with Taz. It's hard to not do a top 3, and you want to just do like a top 5 or a top 10. Taz really is like 3A, 3B. Just Larry already highlighted the reasons. I mean, he was a smaller guy, but had the believability of like a Lesnar type, where he's just squashing dudes with submissions, and he's just a badass. Like, he's scary. He's a little dude, but he's scary. So I gotta give it to Taz. Now, in that same vein, number 3, we're gonna go out east. Tomohiro Ishii.
I thought about that too.
The Stone Pitbull. Tomohiro Ishii. His matches, I've met him too. There's a picture of us, like, and I had to use broken English to like tell him what I wanted to do, but he got it like immediately. I'm like, can we do like nose to nose? Like, so there's a picture of us at Global Wars, and we're like staring each other down nose to nose, and I'm like towering over him. It was still sort of scary, like him like making the face, and like he's just a thick, he's a pit bull, like they say.
You remember how pissed off he looked when we saw him outside the Superdome?
Oh man, he was probably bored to tears with Mania the second time. And he had that Batista fit with like the white like sweater.
It was an Armani Exchange suit. I remember looking at the label, Armani Exchange. He had
he had some like Cartier type glasses. Like,
he was straight like Japanese mafia.
Oh man, he was killing it. He was killing it.
They even go up and ask him,
right?
He had that Spades fit on. That's what he had on. Man, but yeah, Tomohiro Ishii. His matches, man, and over the years, he's been, in my opinion, Tomohiro Ishii has been one of the most consistent workers in New Japan. Top to bottom, size, doesn't matter. He's been the go-to guy. So Tomohiro Ishii is in my top 3. Second, I gotta go Eddie. I gotta go Eddie Guerrero. He was 5'8". He's a cruiserweight worker in WCW. By standard, he is a small dude. And I know Eddie and Benoit get paired together, but Benoit was almost 6 foot. Eddie was 5'8". So he was way more undersized than Benoit was. They got jacked through the years, and like they were a more comparable size seemingly when they hugged it out at Mania, which is one of the most epic moments for me, one of my favorite wrestling moments ever. The end of Mania 20 at the Garden. But yeah, Eddie, man. This guy beat Brock Lesnar for his first title, WWE, the Undisputed Championship. Beat Brock Lesnar, and it was believable. One of the all-time greats. one of the all-time greats. Watch his stuff in New Japan, watch his stuff in ECW, watch his stuff in WCW, watch his stuff in WWE, WWF.
If you're not an Eddie Guerrero fan, you don't like wrestling. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I was watching his High Spots DVD earlier this week.
One of the
That's
all-time greats, man.
Eddie in
Rest in
Japan.
I gotta do it. Gotta hit it. Gotta hit one. Number one, no surprise. Larry already mentioned him, right? Shout out to the Bad Boys for using that theme song first. Europe, the final countdown. I think Bad Boys first, Bad Boys Pistons from the 80s, early 90s. Secondly, I think of the red robe with the hood up. I'm talking about the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Epic. From the you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in days all the way to the Yes movement. He has been top to bottom, just always consistent, super technical, super believable. In your hometown at the Superdome, that's one of the most legendary title wins ever. Like, people ultimately go to the Hogan and Andre stuff. They look at maybe a Cena. They look at other moments. That's one of the most all-time. That is one of the most all-time. Just as a wrestling fan, jump out of your chair, gratifying moments. There's nothing better than when Daniel Bryan won at the Superdome. In two matches in one night. Beat Triple H at the start of the show, then got thrown into the triple threat. So he essentially went through sans Ric Flair, went through the entire Evolution stable in one night.
With the old Bill Wyatt because he didn't have any. There's all that.
Man, yeah, it's interesting too, because he lost to AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown. So AJ Styles is your flat Earth Intercontinental Champion. Dude, his side plate should just be flat Earth logos. But it's interesting because Daniel Bryan's contract runs out in August. He didn't get the title, so he's kind of in this limbo moment. Bree's pregnant again, of course. So I'm not trying to throw it out there, but man, would I love to see. This is my dream. This is what I want. We've already brought his name up. I want Daniel Bryan and Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom.
Man, that's a dream right there.
Please make that happen. Please make that happen. Because I know the lazy go-to is, AEW. You were expecting it, weren't you? You thought we were going to. I really hope to see Daniel Bryan versus Will Ospreay at this year's Wrestle Kingdom. That has a potential of being one of the best matches we've seen in a very, very long time. And hell, if we were doing this triple threat, maybe a couple of years down the road, who's to say that Will Ospreay wouldn't be in the top three? Because only time will tell with him. He's, as far as undersized wrestlers go, he's one of the best in the world right now. So I think that pairing would be great. So I'm hoping for that at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm just going to speak it into existence, and maybe it'll happen. So, but yeah, that's it as far as the triple threat goes. Man, that was a good time. But that wasn't too long, was it, Logan?
Nah, not at all. I always just say names, so I know y'all be having more stories.
Yeah, man. Well, anything else? Anything else to touch base on?
Nah.
Shout out to Spike Lee for dropping another classic. That's all I gotta say.
Man, no spoilers. No spoilers. It just came out. It's been I've been on my super husband stuff this week, especially Friday was so crazy with work, and I have to sit down, and phone is on the charger in what? Like, it's a Spike Lee joint. I can't sit here and like play on Twitter and work's calling, like, because I could have watched it through the day, but then the phone rings, I gotta pause. And then, so I'm hoping I can sit down and watch that maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to watching that. Dude, we had a Chappelle special that surprised just out of the blue. Spike Lee, like I told Larry, all we needed was like a Tribe Called Quest surprise album drop, and or a Kendrick. That would have just been the holy trinity. Like that would have made my year right there in one day. But yeah, man, there's a lot of good things. I know we started real heavy at the top of the show, but Larry said it since day one. Through hardship and through these hard times, man, art comes out in ways that in a perfect world probably wouldn't be there. And really, art is therapeutic and can really be cathartic and get you through these times. And hopefully listening to this podcast can get you through and getting some understanding of just a broad scope of not just the wrestling world, but the world in general. And if we can lend that voice to you, much appreciated. But yeah, wrestling slowly coming back. It seems like even though the numbers aren't like drastically winding down, man, all the restaurants, I don't know about New Orleans, but the restaurants up here, dude, you would think nothing's happening. Like we went to the butcher today. You would have thought it's just another summer day. Like everybody's like this close to each other and everybody's eating out on the dine-in, out in the outdoor seating. And
no comment.
hopefully things open up and I'm hoping we get this vaccine soon so we can move on. But everybody's public health and public safety is always important. But yeah, wrestling is slowly but surely creeping back, and I think again, it really is a good time, and I hate using that distraction term. We don't need to distract ourselves. We need to be engaged. We need to educate ourselves, but we can latch on to wrestling as a form of entertainment and something that just keeps us entertained, something we enjoy watching. And I know for certain we're ready to see some live shows coming back. It's been rumored that AEW and NXT are maybe going to start allowing fans to a certain degree, not full capacity, but a certain limited capacity percentage-wise. We may see more than just people from the roster out in the crowd. We may see some more fanfare in at the crowds. That'll lend to more organic reactions and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to more live crowd stuff. But yeah, wrestling's creeping back. We'll have more stuff to talk about here, and more things to break down. It's such a weird time to be covering wrestling because, again, just like with this week, wrestling's on the back burner as far as I'm concerned. So there's different topics that need to be discussed. So I'm thankful for everybody and thankful for all our supporters. If you haven't followed us yet, follow us on Twitter at the letter K FEB Connection. Give us a follow on Instagram, all one word, Kayfabe Connection. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Get the notification when the episodes drop. And subscribe to the channel. And also in the comment section, what's your triple threat? Who's your top 3 undersized wrestlers? Maybe they're 3 people who we didn't even name. I know there's going to be some people salty that, you notice this? None of us picked, I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. None of us picked HBK. That seems to be the honest answer. I know there's probably going to be some people in the comment section that are going to.
Shawn Michaels is an ally right now. So
man, yeah, shout out to him, man. He's a real one. Look that story up on the dirt sheets. The sexy boy was out here correcting one of the WWE executives about this current climate, we'll say. Man, shout out to HBK. But yeah, we'd love to hear what you think about the top 3 undersized wrestlers. So Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, get the conversation going. Who are your top 3 undersized wrestlers? And what do you think about New Japan Cup? What do you think about Fyter Fest? What do you think about big dudes in wrestling? All the topics we discussed tonight, there's your platform to have a conversation with us. But without further ado, that's it for another episode of Kayfabe Connection. Next time someone tells you wrestling's fake, you tell them, store movies and TV.